The United States is billing the African Leaders Summit as an opportunity to strengthen partnerships with African nations in order to advance shared priorities. And Washington appears poised to express support for some key African priorities.
President Biden believes that U.S. collaboration with African leaders, as well as with civil society and business leaders and the diaspora, women, youth, is essential to unlocking the potential of this decisive decade. As you know, the President intends to announce U.S. support for the African Union to join the G20 as a permanent member. It's past time for Africa to have permanent seats at the table in international organizations and initiatives, and the President also plans to underscore his commitment to UN Security Council reform, including support for a permanent member from the African continent.
The summit will tackle key areas of mutual concern, from business and investment to peace, health and food security, the climate crisis and the question of good governance and democracy, a key pillar of the Biden administration's engagement with global stakeholders in a bid to counter the growing creep of autocracy around the world. With elections in Africa in 2023, the DRC, Nigeria, Zimbabwe and South Sudan, among others, a key focus of this White House.
Having a meeting about elections in 2023 is not about us raising the alarm bell or claiming, we've got concerns and then solutions. It's rather to say there are important elections coming up. We would like to do everything we can to support those elections being free, fair and credible. And that goes for every election taking place in 2023, not picking and choosing certain ones and setting other ones aside. So the meeting is designed to indicate that the United States is focused on being supportive of free, fair, and credible elections everywhere they are taking place in Africa in 2023.
Sullivan promised specifics in the days ahead on the $55 billion pledge over 3 years to Africa, as he was pressed on whether the United States had lost ground in its relationship with Africa, given the lack of focus on the continent from the previous Republican administration.
Anytime an administration chooses not to put as much energy or emphasis into a place, it obviously has some ramifications. But I have to say that since President Biden has come into office, whether it's through the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, or it's through the work we've done on COVID-19, or it's through the significant announcements that we've made at both of the last two conferences of parties on climate change, we believe that we are not coming into this summit from a standing start. We're coming into this summit with a head of steam around a set of issues that this summit, I think, is going to kick into a higher gear. And that is going to put us in a position not just for us to succeed over the course of next year or the following year, but really over the course of this decisive decade.
49 African countries have been invited, excluding those suspended by the African Union due to unconstitutional changes in government, or countries that do not enjoy full diplomatic relations with the United States. Shervin Riceby's SABC News, New York.